And if you speak English and you tell them you're not a French speaker, they will immediately assume that you're American.
You trying to make me, I wanna leave and you're making, yeah. I try to see the one I need to love.
Hi guys, and welcome to Linda Tina TV. Today I'm going to be talking about the misconceptions and assumptions Italians have about Africans living here in Italy. So I've been here for about 5 years now, and I have realized that there's some assumptions Italians have of Black Africans living here, mostly based on ignorance. They're not aware about the diversity going on around the world. Italians haven't seen so many Black people until very recently, so they're still kind of new to this diversity, and so they have all these assumptions running through their minds about the Black people they see around here. The first assumption is that we are all immigrants who came to Italy through the south on water, and we are here illegally. If you watch the news, you've seen the immigrants who come to Italy through the south at the coast, and they come by water on the boats. So the common assumption is that all of us came here using that route, and we are all probably illegal. The other common assumption is that we are all from West Africa. Now, because the biggest number of Africans in Italy are from West Africa, the moment you meet someone, the first thing they'll ask you, "Oh, you're from Nigeria?" Nope. Ivory Coast? Nope. Ghana? Nope. Senegal? No! I am not from West Africa. I'm from Uganda. So the common assumption is that we are all West Africans and we somehow know each other. For some reason, they think we all know each other. Many times they're going to speak to you in French because most West African countries speak French. And if you speak English and you tell them you're not a French speaker, they will immediately assume that you're American. They forget that there's this other part of Africa, the eastern side, the southern side. They think so much about the western side because it's what they've seen the most. Italians think that most Africans they see here in Italy back home live below the poverty line. Now that is because the media talks about Africa and African countries living below the poverty line for the bigger part. And so they think that every African they see here is probably from a family living below the poverty line, which is funny because there's so many Africans I have met here whose families are doing so well, much better, much wealthier than the Italian families, but the Italians have no idea about that. They think every African they see here is probably living in poverty back home, and maybe that's why they came here. Also, because they see you living here and trying to make a life here, they assume that you hate your country, you hate your continent, Africa, and you wanted to escape and never go back. Which is not true because we love our countries, we love our continent, and we would do anything to live there. But sometimes because of life, you find yourself living in a different place. But girl, I am so crazy about Uganda. Anyone who knows me knows that. There's also this common assumption that I've mentioned in one of my previous videos that most African women are loose, are into prostitution. So because apparently many African women who came here did a lot of that, they have this assumption that every African girl that they see is easy. Italians also forget that here in Italy they have an Afro Italian community. And by Afro Italian, I don't mean people like me who came here in the recent years. I mean people whose parents or who have been born here, so they are actually Italian, minus having black skin. They are really Italian in the language they speak, in the way they've been raised, their culture. All they know is Italian. So there's this group of Black Italians that Italians usually actually either forget about or ignore, I don't know. But yeah, they assume that every African they see here is, you know, they just came in, you know, in the recent years from Africa. They always ask you, oh, so when did you come here? How did you come here? And there's some people who are born here, their parents are born here, they are actually Italian, black Italians. So Italians always forget about this community. Okay, this is a little bit funny, but Italians assume that we don't get sunburn, we don't feel the heat, we are like, our skin is like made of stone. Now, because we are from tropical countries, Italians assume that all Africans have this immunity to the sun. Like, we don't feel the sun, we don't feel the heat, our skins don't get burnt. Okay, maybe our skins take longer to get burnt because we have more melanin, but yeah, we do feel the heat. So when you tell an Italian, oh, I'm feeling so hot in the summer, they'll be like, but it's hotter in your country. No, it isn't. It isn't 40 degrees in my country. A few other funny things, Italians think that all African women especially know how to do hair. So every time they see you with your hair done, they think you did it yourself. I mean, so many Afro women have learned how to do hair themselves, but we're not all so good at doing braids and weaving and all this stuff. But every time they see you, they're like, oh, you did that hair yourself? No, I didn't. So those are some of the few assumptions that can come to mind that Italians have about Africans living here in Italy. If you have any other assumptions, leave them down in the comment section. This video is not meant to offend anyone or to paint a funny picture about Italy. Believe me, Italy is not a bad place to live. I've personally not had any bad experiences, discrimination, racism, being treated, you know, in any way that has made me feel like I need to leave this place. No, so I'm not trying to paint a bad picture of Italy. I live in Milan, where people are more open-minded as well, and they've seen more diversity, and maybe it could be different for someone else out there. So this video is not meant to paint Italy like some horrendous place. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel, and see you in my next video. Ciao, ciao.